Hi everyone, my name is Teresa Janowski and I'm from Australia, in Adelaide actually, and it's an absolute delight to be invited to speak. I want to thank Kelly and Roy for their patience with me, but also for the invitation. It's going to be an amazing event, guys. You're going to absolutely love it, and I'm really privileged to contribute to it. So, why am I talking? Several years ago, I came up with the notion of running a STEM sister program to build resilience and confidence in young girls at school so they stay in STEM and continue their careers. And I'm going to share with you some of the lessons we've learned, not just from myself, but from the students. I'll share that with you. So let's get on to it. So this is my company, STEM Fast Track. I'm the CEO and founder. My background is actually in engineering. I have a degree in computer science, and I've worked for a number of large companies, and finally now settling running STEM Fast Track. So that was actually real footage from our programs, which is awesome. So a bit about who we are and what we do, what is STEM Sister, and then some lessons learned from our past students, and then a gem. So we're going to finish off, and I've actually got a snippet from one of the workshops that we run, and this is just for you so you can actually implement it in the classroom. And I've provided a PDF so you can actually print that off and use it as a resource in your classroom. So that's super cool. So what do we do and who we are? This is me. This is me. So to the top left, that's me with my family. I've got adult children. One's a doctor, one is an entrepreneur, husband's a geek, literally. There's a photo of me in my national costume. I'm actually background's Polish, and dumplings and Berliners. I had a challenge. I love challenging myself to make something new each month and overcome my fear of yeast. So believe it or not, I'm an absolute Formula One buff. I adore cars. I adore Formula One. We've got BMWs. I love a flat, fast, well-cornered car. And I can talk about Formula One and how good is it with all those races in the US coming up. OMG, it's going to be amazing, amazing. That is my mum. She's actually 90. And she is a very strong woman with clear vision. And I was brought up knowing about Madame Curie, which is actually, she was Polish, Madame Curie Skłodowska, and she married a French dude. And she felt, she believed and understood that she could create the X-ray. And she did. And there's a photo of the snow. We were skiing in Europe just before COVID hit. And fun fact, I love doing flower arrangements, but I'm allergic to flowers. How about that, huh? So that's a bit about me. I'm actually in Adelaide. This is Australia. So the little arrow there is where Adelaide is. It's a great place to live. And no, we do not have kangaroos and koalas on the streets. Having said that, I did see a koala in a park not far. Adorable, adorable. Back onto it. My career history. So I've been working for 32 years. I've worked in an amazing array of companies, and with every single one of them, I have learned so much, so much. But the secret is, or the interesting part is not where I've worked, it's this bit, networking. My very first mentor was way back when at Telstra, and she told me that my net worth is equivalent to my network, my actual network. And many, many famous people have said it since, but she reminded me to maintain my communication skills and networking, how important it is. And I remember that. And that is essentially the basis of what I teach in STEM Sister and Mister. So who are we? So the core team, there's 5 of us. I have also a panel of educators. They are my advisors, principals, STEM leaders, young teachers, just fresh teachers, teachers that are requalified, industry advisors from an array of industries, emerging, existent industries. These are people that have hearts, that want to help, want to give a hand up, want to teach the next generation, and actually need people, need actual staff. And also the ambassadors. I've got a core of 25 ambassadors which have completed our programs, and they have been trained to help deliver and assist. So what's our framework for STEM Fast Track? Well, it's a nexus of educators, families, industry, and students. We can't just run programs for students and expect them to know what to do. Educators or teachers need to be taught as well about industry opportunities, current skill sets, etc. And equally, industry want to have connections with educators and students, but they don't know how. And families, if students aren't supported at home, then they won't get that support to fulfill their career. I read a document, a study several years ago that discovered that it takes 4 dinner table conversations for a student to pursue a career. So 4 dinner table conversations at home, supporting the student in 1 year can literally shift the trajectory for that student. I mean, wow, that's incredible. So it's so important to tell this to parents and encourage them, and even tell them, you know, tips on how and what to say. So how do we achieve that? So by running networking events for teachers with industry, at industry. So we've done this. This is an example, a photograph from a networking event we ran in February for teachers to meet entrepreneurs. So we had a panel, we did a Q&A, and then we did speed dating. So if there's one thing you'd like to take away from today, facilitate networking, be the example, and show them how to do it. And so many connections were made. Industry also needs those connections. And this is actually Tessa. She was on a panel for another event, but this was for families and students. We run them separately. The educators like to have access to industry themselves, but this is specifically for industry and families and children. We had a Q&A about career pathways, incomes, hours worked, etc. And that actually facilitated those conversations at home. We also run tours of innovation precincts. This precinct that the photograph is here is of the old Mitsubishi factory, which has now been turned into an innovation hub, innovation and collaboration. So we bring over 1,000 students per year to this precinct to show schools and students where they can study, live and work. And this is in fact, these girls are my team. So awesome. One's going to be a naval architect, one will be a paramedic, and one is going to, she'll be in international relations and in the Army, an officer. School workshops, we've actually dipped the age of who we engage with from high school down to primary school. So we're talking aged 8 and 9. And we were just about to launch into a paper plane activity, the workshop that I'll be showing you a little bit later on. So what is STEM Sister? It's a program created to empower 14 to 17-year-old girls. That's the primary age we aim for, specifically because here in Australia, the students actually have to choose their subjects in year 10. So we actually do that N-1 year. So we influence them, not just with content, but with role models. So the girls actually are at Microsoft or Amazon or at a cyber company in the range perhaps, so they can see where they can work. You know, nice boardrooms, offices, you know, what people wear, what they do, how they interact, but examples of people, that is actually key, absolutely key. Variety of backgrounds and experience. And here are some examples over the years. So we work with all demographics, all sectors, and I really think it's important to blend the students together. So not just one sector. I always blend the attendees. And I've got a video to show you now with some feedback from the girls from day 1 and day 3.
So from STEM Sister, I had the realization of what I actually wanted to do. I had an idea and a thought, but from 2 days into this program, I really knew what I wanted to do and how to get there, and what modules to use to be able to get myself there. My favorite module was the compound effect. All those little steps that will lead me to my final destination, and just how to use it was really important to me. And I would like, in my future, I would like to be a sports scientist.
This course has made me learn the skills and the real stuff, that will help me achieve and be successful in life in terms of my goals as well. And my future is so much more clearer now, career-wise. And Teresa is just an amazing role model. She is the best person. She's so successful, and just I hope one day I'll be like her. So yeah.
I have absolutely loved doing this course. I would definitely recommend it. It's just so inspiring, and I've taken a lot away from it, especially all of the modules and how I can use them in everyday life. It's really helped me to further my passion in STEM, and yeah, I would definitely recommend it to any females who want to become a STEM sister.
Basically, when I came to this course, I didn't know much about it, but after I've come here, I think I've learned a lot more about myself and more about my personality, so how I can use these character traits to really push myself and make myself stronger. It's been really good for helping me see clearer into where I want to go after school and stuff. And I think I definitely recommend it. You learn so much more about yourself and things that you won't learn in school. So yeah.
After completing STEM Sister, I feel like I have a better knowledge of myself and what further skills I can implement to become successful. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who's willing to kind of take that step outside their comfort zone and to really kind of open up to a great group of trusting girls. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I just love watching it. Just makes my heart sing. Okay, just going to go to the next slide. Oh no, sorry. I don't know how to get out of it. We may have to. This is where Rose may have to help. Good. So we also have the Amber, if you want to check the time, just to tell Rose where to cut it, just to adjust it. Yeah, cool. Okay, so STEMistre, we also have a STEMistre program, which is the equivalent, except one difference. We actually have young males which have lived the modules that we teach, so that they can actually be a good inspiration to the men. So here's an example of one of the gentlemen. He's actually works in marketing, but he's all about image and first impressions. So he's teaching the students about your digital footprint, but also your physical footprint, how you present yourself, and first impressions count. They also learned to do a good handshake, because some men at 14 haven't had that experience, especially if they don't have a male role model at home. So Tom's there actually teaching the boys, and this is one group of boys. This is a few years ago, so all of these guys are actually at uni now, and one of them is actually studying to be a racing car driver. So it's pretty cool. And here's another video.
A highlight for this course would definitely have to be the guest speakers coming in. They were a great insight into how you can actually use this in your everyday life, and it just really opened my eyes up, and I really enjoyed it. And I would highly recommend this course to pretty much anyone. It doesn't matter what you're interested in, what you want to do. It just gives you great life advice and gives you some great skills.
I didn't really have a highlight. It was a fantastic experience, the whole entire course, really. You know, meeting all the boys, getting to know them, coming from different areas of Adelaide. I recommend it to anyone in general because you learn a lot of valuable life lessons here during school, during uni, and after that.
My highlight for this course is definitely meeting all of these guys and, you know, all of us coming together and working as well as we did was definitely eye-opening. Recommendations for this course is like not just if you're interested in STEM. If there is anything to do with like business or entrepreneurship or anything like that, you know, this course will help you throughout your career and schooling and life and whatnot.
On this course, well, meeting so many people that have not just same interests, but more like they know where they want to go and they all have the same passion to exceed where they want to go. Recommendations goes to anyone. Doesn't matter even if you haven't even heard of STEM. Just go for it. Experience.
Awesome. Okay, great. Okay, this one. Let's go to that one. Thank you. No. Oh, no. Sorry. I don't know why that happened. Okay, it's better. Okay, so I'm going to start again from here. STEM Sister Junior. We also have modified STEM Sister to be 2 half days for primary school children. And this is the group that we actually had on the very first group, first pilot program. This, I think I cried like 3 times. This was the toughest school in South Australia. Some of these kids have had some pretty challenging backgrounds and they did so well. We actually had the workshop at university and then walked across the innovation district to a company that makes metal detectors and mine detectors. And the girls saw a multitude of cultural backgrounds and people talking in 5, 6 different languages that they related to. And there weren't just uni qualified people, there were people that were technical people doing maintenance, doing logistical support, all that kind of stuff. And they really felt they could be them without actually, you know, from where they were, they could actually see themselves in those roles. And they have. It's just incredible. Yeah, quite life-changing. Amazing teacher, the lady in red there, she's incredible. Our newest program is Cyber Sister. Now, this is amazing. We have an incredible shortage of cyber experts in Australia. And one way to fill this, we did a pilot in February, 4 days, and it was a preparation course for traineeship. So essentially, we had 12 girls, which were straight from high school, finished high school, did not really want to go to uni, but were smart, bored, needed some guidance, and 12 women, which were actually already had a qualification or did something else. So we blended them together and did a preparation course for traineeship. Accenture sponsored the first one, and the one this year is sponsored by 5 different cyber companies. So as a result of the program, the girls were interviewed and they were offered traineeships, and they're doing so well. And it was a direct funnel to fill this gap in the cyber industry. So you'll be doing at least 1, if not 2 this year. And our most recent project is I'm an innovation coach at a primary school. One of the assistant principals moved to the department for an incredible position. And because of some work I've done in the regions, I was invited to be an innovation coach. And this is a brainstorm by one girl in year 4, so she's like 9, and how we're going to redo the STEM room. And she just went nuts. LED lights, space for the robots, 3D printing. Oh my God, a big bot arena for battling. It's just, she just went nuts. This took like 10 minutes. It was incredible. So stay tuned. So Roy, I may have to come back next year and tell you about that one. Let's get on to the juicy stuff. So why STEM Sister Mister? 25 modules, 9 guest speakers, real life skills, and we also deliver it at Amazon, Microsoft, defense companies, cyber companies, never at school, because students are complacent at school, and at work, they've got the best behavior and they can just see where they can work. Some of the modules we cover: compound effect, comfort zone, problem solving, structured problem solving, goal setting. And each day there is a workshop. So we actually do theory in the morning, guest speakers, and then there's workshops, very, very solid workshops, which they then have to present on. Some of the guest speakers, and we also have posters where they have to actually be consistent in presenting their information. And this guest speaker, she's actually a GP, and she was talking about scheduling, organization, and she showed her journey, how she's actually progressed in how she actually came up with methods to actually organize herself, which the girls wrote down furiously because it was not normal. It was her way, but she lived it. There's an exec we have from a pretty big company, and she's actually teaching the girls how to disagree agreeably. So we do role playing and feedback. Excuse me. So while we're at university, we've got access to using some VR, and the girls had fun. Panel sessions. So this panel session was held at Microsoft, and we had an array of presenters from Amazon as well. And they just basically shared what they do, how they do it, and what they love about their jobs, again, being quite relatable. And then we invited back alumni and past speakers from the remaining last few years, and then we did role playing and networking. And then we set the girls a challenge to then go and network within that week. I love this one. This is from a program we ran in Canberra. So this gorgeous girl, day one, she was nervous, excited, and then empowered and prepared. And she's now studying, I believe it's mechatronics at university, second year. Again, more pictures of girls, just so inspiring. This is when they had these dreams. So the one in the middle there, she is now a vet nurse and rehabilitates animals in a pool, loves it, has a dog walking business, 22, and bought her own house by herself. Each one of these has an amazing story. So what did we learn from this? Now, this is actually cool. So Grace, her biggest thing was to leave your comfort zone. She was quietly confident, very intelligent, did well at school, but stayed in her own comfy nest, if you like. So she basically pushed herself to do things she wanted to, but was too afraid to. So she actually is studying to be an Army officer, has volunteered overseas during the pandemic, and is studying and working 2 jobs and putting a lot of money away. And she's doing so well. She also is one of our core mentors and trains the next generation. Sarah's a boss babe. She chose to do STEM Sister 3 times over by herself, and every single time she had a new epiphany because she grew in between. Her key ones were scheduling, prioritization, and money management. So this woman knows how to play 6 musical instruments, is a volunteer firefighter, and does first aid at events. And she's studying to be an ambulance, a paramedic, but incredible. And she took up sailing. She just lives life to the fullest. It's amazing. Summer really pushed herself to network. She's quiet and likes people, but not more than 2. And she decided she's just going to network at least 1 event a month and just talk to people and focus on them. That was one of the key secrets. I said, just ask about them. That way you don't have to talk. You just start the conversation. So she has been on television, had a job she wasn't meant to have, but she had the competence and had the confidence to communicate it. And she's made it a habit to network. Huge overcoming. And Clarky, I love this guy. He was on the video, and he's now actually studying to be a racing car driver. So we have many heated exchanges about who's doing what, how, whatever. But we all agree that it's amazing that there are so many races in the US. We're so happy about the Formula 1 races, and how good was the Miami Grand Prix. Amazing. So top modules: leaving a comfort zone, scheduling and prioritization, 2 different things. Scheduling is to booking it in, but prioritization is doing the right thing when you have to, not the easy thing, the right thing. Yeah. Money management, that's budgeting. Start now, start young. Taking risks. We're not talking crazy stuff. We're talking risks like don't buy yourself takeaway, eat it at home. That's a risk for teenagers. Getting out and networking and using the compound effect. Daily decisions create your habits, create your life. Yeah. The summary of lessons learned, consistently, they said to be brave, to really just step out and be brave, a little bit at a time. Keep pushing forward, take risks, Make it a habit of things. Like, it's nice to do things straight after the course, but what if? So a core group of them decided to connect quarterly and to share what they did. And I love this because they knew they're going to connect, therefore they had to say something, yeah? So they had to keep their word and just keep going. And these are the messages that they share with the STEM sisters and misters when they come back and teach now. So they're the key lessons. So now the workshop. So what have I got for you to use? So this is what I run with all the year levels. It's a key component in sister, mister, and the junior sister, and what I'm running at the moment at the primary school. So the Ishikawa workshop is all about cause and effect. And if you imagine your pizza's delivered burnt, right? The effect is burnt pizza delivered. The cause can be any number of things. The person was not trained, equipment was not calibrated, management did not provide enough staff. The material, the dough was actually too flat and therefore it was easier to burn, etc. Environment could be the layer of the kitchen of the pizzeria was actually, you know, the distance between serving and maintaining the oven, etc. was too big. So this I'm providing to Roy and the team to share with you. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to make paper planes. Yep, that's right. You're going to make paper planes. And this is where you're going to track the stats. I'll go into it. So round one, you have some paper. That's all. You have the kids in the classroom and you say, right, I want you to build 5 planes that fly 5 meters and you've got 5 minutes. Set yourself a timer and just let them go. And then show them the prize, the chocolates, a bag of chocolates. And please, 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 not everyone wins. I always tell the kids, this isn't school, okay? It may be a classroom, but in life, not everyone wins. The people that listen to the instructions, that execute the instructions, listen to counsel, adjust, and do as they're required, win. So I drop these little hints, yeah? And then we actually get them to fly the planes, which is quite honestly funny, really funny. Normally I have like a pull-up banner or a poster they have to hit, and I just point to a specific location and then we track. So normally everyone does their own thing and we track how many they produced, 9, how many flew, 6, that's optimistic, and how many I buy, because maybe I don't like the planes. And this is where you introduce the business aspect and how they worked as a team. Were they working individually? Then they get a 0. If they started collaborating, great. And then there's a metric there, yeah? Second round, in groups of 3. So they must work together. They build 5 planes that fly 5 meters. Again, they've got 5 minutes. So sometimes now they start going, hey, she cheated with the time. It wasn't really 5 minutes, it was 4. Normally I give them a bit more actually. And then I tease them with the treats, yeah? And then we do it again. So we do the second round. And then round 3, we give it some structure. Again, they're just making paper planes, but I ask them, hey, if you were at home, how would you learn to make a plane? Oh, I'd watch a YouTube clip. Then do it, then do it. And I've actually got a book with how to make paper planes that they see, but they don't ask me. I'm like, do you want to borrow my book? Do you want to use that? Do you want to, you know, whatever. And there's usually a few kids that know how to make the plane really well. I'm there, why don't you ask them? Why don't you see if you can buy them, you know, or collaborate or whatever. And I bring in business elements to allow them to start collaborating and just dropping hints. For example, allocation of roles. There could be someone doing project management, quality. There could be the one doing the engineering, the folding, designing. So if kids like to draw, then I say, why don't you be the artist? I think every plan should have a logo. Come up with a logo. And of course, a timekeeper. And again, they've got 5 minutes. But what I normally do is give them another 5 for training. Then we do the flying again. This time it's the final round. And then we finish off with a report. This is very, very important. If you're going to skip on rounds, do 2 rounds, but then do the report. So this is the report. So they state what roles they allocated, how many planes they produced and sold the very last one, the very last round. And then what they learned. I'm really, really finicky. They have to put down at least 2 to 3 things and what they would do next time. For example, I say to them, if we were going to come back here next week and I was going to give you a very large box of chocolates, like we're talking like 10 kilos or something, what would you do? What would you do this time? And they go, oh, wow, I take notes now And I'd make sure I've got all the assets ready. I've got a ruler to get the fold well. I've got this. I'm like, okay, write it down. And then I realize what I'm getting at. And then I draw the analogy to, okay, what about homework? What about a project they're working on? What about music or something they're working on? How can they transfer the lessons they've learned in this exercise to that space? So we draw some parallels and some links to that. And then the judges deliberate. They decide based on produced, flew, and teamwork. Very, very important. If they didn't fly many, but they worked together and we saw an improvement each cycle, I fully support them winning. And then the judges provide the packet of frocks. So yeah, and then we have normally a celebratory photo. Now over to you. So this is recorded obviously, but we're going to go live with some questions, and I can't wait to hear your questions. So ask me anything. I'd love to help and I'd love to contribute. And once again, thank you so much to Kelly and Roy for having me and for putting on this incredible, incredible conference. It is so needed, and I hope you do many, many more. So thank you so much.